You complain about these things. I complain about these things too. Virtually all pro wrestlers complain about them, but we can make things better. I've got some fresh insights to share with you on all three next. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and this is Till We Make It. Throughout my 30-plus year career, I have worked in front of the cameras as a pro wrestler, referee, ring announcer, and commentator too. But I've also worked behind the scenes in pro wrestling as a promoter, booker, agent, coach, consultant, and tons of other things as well. And I bring the sum total of all my experiences working in wrestling, and I serve it up right here to you each and every week on Till We Make It. If you're down with that, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and join the Till We Make It tribe. Subscribe right now so you never miss a video. In today's episode, I want to talk about those three things that always manages to draw out the hate. You know what pro wrestlers love to complain about? I bet you've heard this somewhere before. It falls into one of three categories consistently. They love to complain about the cash, the creative, and their coworkers. Let's start with the one I hear about the most. The cash. Wrestlers love to complain about the cash. And what do we mean exactly here? We're talking about how much performers get paid by the wrestling organizations that hire them. Wrestlers love to complain about this one endlessly, and I want you to know I'm guilty of this too. But we could simply go about this by grousing and grumbling. We could go about this by making our passive-aggressive posts on social media, or we could actually do something about it. So I want to give you a fresh insight so that together we can flip the script on this topic. We know wrestlers love to complain about the cash. They are being paid this amount, but they feel like they should be paid this amount for their services. And rather than just hating on the reality of the situation, how about we work to make things better? It's a two-step process that we can undertake. Number one is we're going to demonstrate how much value we add to the wrestling company that hires us. And then number two, we're going to seek out a meeting with the decision maker that controls the budget at that wrestling company. And it might be the promoter, it might be the owner, or it might be somebody else. And if right now you're wondering, Mike, how do I demonstrate the value that I add to a wrestling company? I want to offer you these insights from my decades of running my own events. The 8 to 10 minute matches that you'll be doing at the live event, that's barely 5% of the job you should be doing. It's small things like, do you show up at call time? Are you delivering your promos to specification and on time when they are requested? If there's promotional codes that can be tracked, are people using yours to buy tickets, or are you in reality the person on the roster selling the least amount of tickets? In what other ways could you be supporting the work of the promotion to help them grow, to help them make more money? Are you making sure you're promoting the event from your character's social media? Notice I did not say from your personal social media. That's not a mistake, because a wrestling company that's trying to make as much money as possible, they do not want their poster or flyer sandwiched in between the political hot take you just posted to social media and that weird post about the questionable mole your dermatologist just removed. That's not what they want. They want to be on your character's social media where the fans of wrestling are interacting with you. These are ways in which you can demonstrate the value that you add to a wrestling promotion. And once you've been doing that consistently, it's time to seek out a meeting with the person who controls the cash. And I think this is an insight that I needed to hear much earlier on in my career. When you get this meeting with the person in charge of the budget, remember you are entering a negotiation. You aren't there to make demands. This is a business meeting, and business people negotiate. And so be prepared for the fact that you might lose a little of what you want in order to get a win. But in a good negotiation, both people walk away with some kind of win. So right now, the promotion you work for might see you as a $50 guy, but perhaps you see yourself as a $200 guy. But maybe by the end of the negotiation, you're able to meet at $100. So did you get exactly what you were after? Well, no, you did lose a little something, but in the grand scheme of things, you just doubled what you're getting paid. You're getting a win here. That's what a real negotiation accomplishes. If you're looking for more insight on this process and tips for negotiation, I do cover it at the very top of Chapter 3 of Toolbox, Building Better Pro Wrestling. And if you've already got this and you skipped that section about Gnarls Barkley and Death Donut, that's the section about this. Go back and check it out. You can grab Toolbox right now on Amazon and Audible.com. Up next, I want to cover coworkers, because we know pro wrestlers love to complain about their coworkers. And I think a lot of the hate on this topic can be boiled down to a fundamental misunderstanding of two different groups and the way they look at what they're doing in pro wrestling. There is a group of people out there who look at pro wrestling as a fun hobby. It's something they get to do maybe twice a month. And that group, that personality, that mindset, whatever you want to call it, it is radically different from the group of people who view pro wrestling as a job and have made it their career choice. The way that I relate to my friend group outside of wrestling, or the way I relate with my family when we're together for the holidays, that is very different than the approach, the personality, the tone, the level of professionalism that I bring to a high-stakes job interview. These require different things and they engage different parts of the brain. And I think not understanding that we have both these groups leads to a lot of the hate, a lot of the complaining that you hear. Because someone who chooses wrestling as an avocation, their hobby, they're going to bring that different mindset, that different tone, a different degree of professionalism to the work than someone who chooses this as their vocation, as their career. I'm sure the way that you are when you're hanging out with your friends on the weekend is substantially different from the way you conduct yourself when you're vying for the top position in an ultra-competitive corporate setting. So the insight I want to share with you is this. I think a lot of the friction, a lot of the complaining pro wrestlers do about their coworkers, I think it stems from the misimpression that everyone is in wrestling for the same reason that you are. If you're in wrestling as a hobby or because you like it as a social circle, prepare yourself for the fact that you may end up surrounded by people who are not here to make friends. They are here to advance their career, and they may not be the kind of people you'd want to hang out with or confide in. And the reverse of this is true too. If we flip that pancake over and you're the kind of person who sees this as your sole career choice, you need to prepare yourself for the fact that you may end up surrounded by those who don't bring that high level of professionalism to the game because they don't see it as a job at all. And to reduce the stress, to reduce that friction you might feel from this, identify the people who share in your view of wrestling. If you surround yourself with them, you're far less likely to have a bunch to complain about. And we know wrestlers love to complain about the creative. They hate what the bookers come up with. They hate what the creative team has written for them. Here's the insight I want to share with you about this. If you constantly feel like you could be doing a better job than the booker or the writers, remember that you have the opportunity to spend as much of your time and creativity as possible focused just on you. But if you are one member of a 24-person roster, that booker, that creative team, they have to be considering 24 different characters at any given time. And even if in light of that, you feel certain that you could be doing the job better, you do have two possibilities. Number one, you could start pitching ideas to the creative team yourself. Or number two, maybe it's time to break out on your own and start running your own wrestling company where you make the creative decisions. If your ideas are viable enough, you'll be able to show them a higher degree of success when it's you making those creative calls in a company that is all your own.